Hi guys, it's Iris. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a very serious one, but this is a story that I've been wanting to tell publicly on social media for a very long time, and honestly just have not had the courage to do it until now. I have sat down in front of the camera so many times, or gotten the thought, hey, you need to sit down and film that, so many times, and have not followed through with it just because I was not brave enough to do it. And lately I have been seeing the Me Too posts on Facebook. If you guys are not familiar with that whole campaign, there have been these posts called Me Too posts, and it's an effort to shine a light on how many women have actually been affected by sexual harassment and sexual assault. And to see so many people on my Facebook friends list post these things, to see that they are brave enough to say, hey, this happened to me, makes me feel like I need to be brave enough to share my story. So I'm going to do that today. Also, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so this goes hand in hand with that as well. I know a couple years ago there was this whole Why I Stayed hashtag that was really big, and people were posting why they stayed. But yeah, because of all those things, I've wanted to tell my story, but I've just been afraid to, because honestly, there are members of my family, excuse me, let me get a sip real quick. There are members, that water did not help. One more second. Sorry, there are members of my family that do not know that this happened to me. And because of that, I've been afraid to film this video, because I feel like it's not fair to them to have to see and to have to learn that these happened to me via social media. I feel like I should be able to look them in the eyes and tell them, but I just can't do it, you guys. It would kill me all over again, and I'm trying so hard to get better. You guys, this stuff happened to me like 10 years ago, and it still affects me, and I'm still trying to get better, and I feel like telling this story is a form of therapy. So I'm going to tell you my abuse story. This happened to me, like I said, about 10 years ago. I was actually in an abusive relationship for 6 years. 6 years. I know there are people out there who are in abusive relationships for a lot longer than that. But you guys, I got out. So it's possible. You can do it. It's scary. It's scary as hell. Scary as hell to leave an abusive relationship, but it can be done. And if you do it, things are going to be so much better. So much better. But let me tell you my story. So, like I said, I was in an abusive relationship for 6 years, from the ages of 20 to 25. I'm not going to name names because I just don't feel that's necessary. I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. So like I said, I was in this relationship for 6 years, the ages of 20 to 25. I'm going to take those off. It started out, I'm just going to go down the timeline, because if I don't, I'm going to get it all confused, and I'm just going to go ahead with this. So I had actually met this person in a chat room. Red flag number one, you're not supposed to meet people online, especially at that time. Like, that was extremely taboo. You don't meet people that you meet online. You just don't do it. But it was a radio station chat room. Everybody in there knew each other. They all went to concerts together. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and I was going to this concert. So I met this guy, and didn't get a great first impression from him. But eventually the relationship that I was in ended, and I started talking to this guy more and more. And he was extremely charming. You guys, very, very charming. Not great in the looks department, but very charming and very sweet. And he asked me out on a date, and I went out with him. And only took like a couple more dates, and we were dating. We were together. We were exclusive. About, I don't know, a few months into the relationship, I was a virgin at the time. A few months into the relationship, the conversation came up, about when that whole thing's gonna happen, and I told him, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I've never done that. I've actually just started dating. I didn't date in high school. Like I said, I had very low self-esteem. So I didn't date in high school. I didn't start dating until I was in college. And I'm sorry, I'm having so much problems with this shirt, you guys. Oh my gosh. Like my shirt will not stay covering my brow straps. Anyway, so yeah, that whole conversation came up about when is this going to happen, and I told him I wasn't ready. And he never brought it up again. Not for a while, at least. Well, actually, no, he never did bring it up again. I was the one who brought it back up. And I told him I thought that maybe I might be ready. And the night came where we were exploring that whole thing. And I told him, you know what? I was wrong. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm not ready to do this. And he kept persisting and saying, yeah, come on, and you're ready. You said you were ready. I know you're ready. And no, I'm not. I don't want to do this. And you guys, I am crying, telling him no. I am crying and looking at him and telling him, no, I don't want to do this. I do not want this. Not right now. I'm not ready. I don't want to do this. And you guys, I swear to you, the words that I'm about to tell you that he said to me are straight from an after-school special, and they are the most disgusting words, the most disgusting cluster of words to form a sentence that I have ever heard in my entire life. It's going to make my skin crawl when I tell you. But he actually looked at me and said, your mouth is saying no, but your body is saying yes. Does that not make your skin crawl? That somebody would actually say those words in real life. Like, knowing that people say that in movies is one thing, but for somebody to say those words to you in real life, it is disgusting. But he actually said that to me, and if I were a different person, if I were the person I am today, I would have kicked him in the nuts and walked out. But I wasn't that person, and he just kept on, he just kept persisting until I just gave up. I gave up. And I want to really stress something to you guys. If you have been in this situation, if you think you might have at one time ended up in this situation and you were telling yourself that no, that's not what rape is, giving up is not consent. Giving up and giving in is not consent. 50 no's and a yes does not mean yes. After one no, it should stop. You should never get to 50 no's and a yes. That should not happen. That is not consent. That is not somebody that loves you. That is somebody who is trying to get something that is honestly very sacred from you. And somebody who is trying to hurt you. So anyway, like I said, I gave up. I cried the entire time. The entire time. Cried for probably about an hour after. And, part of me knew that it was wrong, but another part of me was just trying constantly to rationalize it. And I kept trying to tell myself, no, you're in a relationship. Rape doesn't happen in a relationship. This person loves you, you love this person. That's what people that are in love do. But it wasn't consensual, you guys. Whether or not people do that in relationships does not matter. It was not consensual. And the definition of rape is non-consensual sex. It is at least one non-consenting adult. If one person does not consent, that is rape. Plain and simple, cut and dry. That is it. I was raped. I have never said those words before, and It hurts, but it's also very therapeutic to actually say those words out loud. But I was raped. I did not think this was going to be that difficult. I have told this story so many times in my head and told this story to invisible people so many times that I did not think it was going to be difficult, but it is. So yeah, that happened. Like I said, I kept trying to rationalize it, that that's not what it was, but that's exactly what it was. Fast forward into the relationship. So that was like the first bad thing that happened. And it didn't, nothing like that happened again for a very, very long time. He, after that, was just very manipulative and controlling. So on the manipulation aspect, if he had an issue with the relationship, he would usually either write me a very vague email, or make a very vague MySpace or LiveJournal post or something like that. Something that nobody else would know what it meant, but I would know what it meant. And he would do that because he knew I would get angry if I saw it. Because why didn't you just come to me? He knew that, okay? So he would do this so that I would get angry and I would confront him. He would turn me into the bad guy. Because I'm the one initiating this confrontation now. I'm the one saying to you what is going on. So it turns me into the bad guy. So all blame is off of him. It's all on me now. Which is ridiculous because he's the one that needed the conversation. He's the one that needed to say, hey, I have a problem with you in these ways. I didn't have any problems. He did. But if I come to him, if I had to come to him and say, what the hell, man? Well, obviously, there you go. All of a sudden, I am the bad guy. So that's the manipulation, part of the manipulation that he would do with me. As far as the controlling thing, he told me how to dress. He bought my clothes for me. He told me what I needed to wear. Who I could be with. In the 6 years that we were together, he never held a job for more than 2 months. And most of that time, he never had a job. Like, when I say never held a job for more than 2 months, he held one job for 2 months when we first started dating. Also didn't have a car. So if he wanted to see me, it was call me on the phone and say, hey, I want to see you, come over here. Well, I'm busy, I can't do that. Well, fine, when you get done doing what you're doing, you need to come over here because I want to see you. Didn't matter if, it wasn't a good time. No, you make time. You make time to come to me. If we went out on a date, if he wanted to take me out on a date, I paid for that date because, like I said, he had no job, therefore no money. So I paid for everything. Which, is whatever, but it's really crappy. So yeah, he told me who I was allowed to be with. If he wanted to see me, he'd snap his fingers and I had to come running to him. Eventually I moved away to go to school. I would move an hour away to go to school. He would call me on the weekends and, say, what are you doing? I remember this one night, I was going to a party. I was in the theater department and, a bunch of the people in the theater department were throwing a party. And, it was a college party, so, crazy party. He had called me and he said, so what are you doing tonight? And I told him I'm going to this party. And he said, well, who's going to be there? And I told him, well, it's, a couple of the guys in the department are throwing this party. And he's like, so there's going to be guys there? Well, yeah, there's going to be guys there. I don't want you to go. Okay, well, I'm going. No, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to be around other guys if I'm not there. Okay, why do you not trust me? No, I trust you. I don't trust them. Okay, so that's a lie, okay? That right there is a lie. If somebody tells you that they trust you, they just don't trust other people, that is a lie because they are saying that they do not trust you to stop a situation from happening. They do not trust for somebody to come up to you and hit on you and for you to say, no, I'm in a relationship, I can't do this. Sorry, bye-bye. That's what they're saying. They don't trust you. So yeah, that pissed me off, but I told him, I'm going anyway. But that was the kind of stuff that he would do. Tell me that, no, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to be around other guys if I'm not around. Who's going to be there, where you going, who you going with, when you're coming back. He had to know everything. And that's not okay either. That's not okay either. But yeah, so he would do stuff like that. And I eventually ended up engaged to this person. The last 2 years that we were together, we were actually engaged. It took me a year to tell my mother. Never told my dad. Told my mother. Cried when I told her because I knew I was in a bad situation. Because this manipulative and controlling type of and mental and emotional abuse, this went on for the rest of the relationship, and I knew that I did not need to be in this, but you guys, I was scared to death. I could never say anything but yes to him because I was afraid of what the outcome was going to be. And you guys, abuse is about control. And that's what it's about, plain and simple. If you're being abused, your abuser has control over you, and that's what it's about. That is what the entire game is about. It is about control. You are not in control anymore. They are your puppet master. That's what it's about. So yeah, all of that kind of behavior went on for the rest of the relationship, and I knew that I didn't need to be in it, but what else am I going to do? I can't leave. He's not stable. If I say no to him, he's going to hurt me or himself or both of us. If I try to get out of this relationship, he's going to hurt me or himself or both of us. I was afraid of what no would bring me. So I always said yes, which is unfortunate. But like I said, it's about control, you guys. Except so, yeah, that all happened. I was engaged to him, scared to death to tell my mom. Finally told her. The last 2 years that we were together, that's when the sexual abuse came into play. He was an insomniac. I am not. I have bouts of it, but overall, I'm a go to bed at a decent hour person, wake up in the morning when the sun comes up, do your stuff, do it all over again. He was the type of person that would not go to sleep until the sun came up. And like I said, I was the only one on the job, so I had to go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning so that I could go to work and earn the money. So yeah, I would go to bed, and of course, we're in a relationship, so there were plenty of times that I did consent. But I would go to bed and, tell him I'm going to bed, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and he wouldn't come to bed. I'd wake up a couple hours later and he'd still be awake playing, whatever he's playing on the computer. And, I'd tell him again, hey, I'm in the bed. Are you coming? Again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here is your window of opportunity, if that's what you want. And he would know I'll be there later. Well, close to time for me to wake up, that's when he would come to bed and start trying things with me. And I would always, no, I've got to get up in a little bit. I'm asleep. I am asleep. I'm in my sweet spot. And I'd be pushing away, no, not now. You had your opportunity and it's not now. That window is closed. Pushing away, no, not right now. And he would just keep persisting. And he would persist and persist and persist. And, the first few times he would just get pissed off and stop. But he got tired of being pissed off and stopping. And it started turning into persisting and persisting and persisting and me saying no, no, no. Until he would start using force on me. And of course, he's bigger than me, he's stronger than me. So it started getting into pinning me down and, again, wearing me down until I just gave up. And he would just force himself on me. which is terrifying. If you have ever been in that situation, if you've never been in that situation, it is terrifying for, even if you're in a relationship, if you are not, okay, ladies, you know, there are times when you are not in the mood. And when you are not in the mood, you are not in the freaking mood. Get off me. I don't want to do this. For that person who is larger and stronger than you to say, tough shit, we're doing it anyway, and force themselves on you, that is terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. There were times I did not know if he was going to actually do physical harm to me. He never once did do physical harm to me. He never physically abused me. It was all emotional, mental, and sexual abuse. But it's still terrifying. And you guys, sometimes, I'm going to say, that mental emotional abuse is, I mean, scars on the body go away. Scars on your mind and your soul, those don't go away. Those do not go away. Those stick with you. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting away from the story. I gotta push on. So yeah, he would force himself on me, and that was just terrifying. Well, it got to the point, I remember one night, I started getting pissed off that it was happening because I knew it was wrong, and damn it, you are not gonna do this to me. This is not what I signed up for. You are not going to do this to me. One night, same situation plays out. He's trying to force himself on me, and I'm telling him, no, get off me, I'm not doing this. And I wouldn't give in. And this one night, this all happened in my sleep, you guys. He is trying, and I keep pushing him, no, I'm not doing this. And he kept trying, and in my sleep, I rolled over and punched him dead in the freaking nose. And that was the most gratifying thing ever. He got up, got out of the bed, asked him when he got out of the bed, I woke up and asked him where he was going, and he told me, you just punched me in the nose. And I said, I laughed at him and I said, were you messing with me? And he said, well, yeah. And I said, well, if you were messing with me and I told you no, I guess you're not going to do it again, are you? And he just kind of sulked. That was so gratifying. But it went on 2 more years before I left. So, but that was the start of me being empowered and realizing, you know what, I can take back control of this. I can take back control of myself, and I can get out of this. I can get out of this. But, you know, it kept on with him forcing himself on me until I just gave up and gave in. And it took, the way I actually got out of this relationship and realized that I honestly needed to get out of this relationship. Me and a couple of my other friends had an intervention with another one of our friends that was in an abusive relationship. You can actually go online, and there was a checklist that you can print out from online. And the way it goes is if you say yes to at least 5 of those questions, you are in an abusive relationship. I said yes to all but 2. And they were both in regards to physical harm. I said yes to every question on that survey except for 2 of those questions. I was definitely in an abusive relationship, and that was the moment that I realized I was in an abusive relationship and I needed to get the hell out. Getting the hell out is the hard part, though. I mean, it's like I said, I was afraid of what no would bring me. I was afraid of what leaving would bring me. He was not stable. I didn't know if I said, if I went to him and said, hey, I can't be in this relationship anymore, I need to break up with you. I was afraid that he was going to kill me. Honestly, I was afraid he was going to kill me or try to kill himself. And spoiler alert, that's actually what happened. He did not kill himself, but he did attempt. But yeah, my 2 of my friends, I had realized that I needed to get out of this relationship, but I didn't know how to do it. And I was sitting, one night hanging out with 2 of my best friends, and we got on the subject of my relationship, and I don't even remember how it happened, but within seconds, within minutes of being into that conversation, I was sobbing. And I had told them everything that had happened up to that point, and I was just sobbing, and they both looked at me and said, "You have to get out of this. You are getting out of this right now." My friend pointed to her computer and she said, "Hey, my computer is right there. You write him an email, you leave him, you get out of this now." Which honestly was the best way. Because had I gone and looked him in the face and said and told him, these are the things that I've had a problem with, you are not a good person, this is not a good relationship, I have to get out. He was charming, you guys. He would have found a way to keep me. He would have found a way to keep me there. The only way for me to leave was to sneak out like a thief in the night. And sometimes that's the way you got to do it, guys. People have told me that I'm a coward for doing it that way, but that's the way it had to end. That's the way I had to do it. I was afraid of what he was going to do if I, told him to his face. So anyway, they convinced me that I needed to write this email, so I wrote him his email, and they proofread it, and my first draft, they said I was being too nice. I needed to say to him in that email exactly what I had said to them. Not to sugarcoat anything, say it point blank, as blunt as possible. So I redid it. They said okay, and I sent it. Now this is a person who religiously checks his email like 50 times a day, checks his email. I was off work for the next 2 days. I was convinced he was going to come to Hattiesburg and kill me. I was convinced he was going to track me down and do some kind of physical harm to me and or himself. That did not happen. But I was off work for the next 2 days, and I don't know why, you guys, but I spent the next 2 days in bed. I could not get out of bed. I had just a constant waterfall from my eyes. Not because I was sad that it was over. I think it was more of releasing everything that had happened to me in those 6 years. It's a very emotional experience to leave something like that. And I like I said, I spent 2 days in bed. I was completely weak. I couldn't move. It was very emotionally draining on me. And like I said, I had been off work for 2 days. My phone had been on that whole time. I was waiting for him to call me. I was going to allow him that phone call. I was going to allow him that conversation to happen. Not face to face, but I was going to allow that conversation to happen, so that he could say what he needed to say. And if I had anything else I needed to say to him, I could say it, and it would be over and it would be done with. He didn't check his email for 2 days. He did not find out until 2 days later. And I went to bed that night because I had to get up for work the next day. I went to bed. I put my phone on silent because I knew it was going to happen. I knew that was going to be the night that he was going to call me. And I just did not have the energy to deal with it. I had to get back in the game, had to go to work, had to get back on it, had to come back to reality. So I turned my phone on silent. And yeah, he did try to call me, and I didn't answer. He had tried to get me online. He had tried to text me and everything. He couldn't get a hold of me because I had turned off all communication. He actually ended up, I didn't plan on telling this part of the story, but I'm going to tell it anyway because this shines a light on how absolutely unstable and crazy and not a good person he was. He ended up calling my parents' house, and my mom answered the phone, and he cussed her out, and, do you know what the F your daughter did to me, and where the F is she? You need to find her right now because I need her. I need to talk to her right the F now. And, cussing her out, telling her, calling me bad names, calling her bad names, just, dude, really? This does not concern my parents. This is between you and I. And he went off the handle, and, was berating my mother, who, by the way, is epileptic. That whole conversation upset her so bad that she got thrown into quite a few seizures the next day. I found out about that because I called her the next day because I told her I would check in with her because she knew that I had left. I had broken up with him. She knew that I had broken up with him. So we called the next day, and that's when she told me, well, I wasn't going to tell you, but he called, and this is what happened. And that oh my God, that made me so angry. You know the term seeing red? I actually saw red. I was actually angry enough, infuriated enough, that everything was red. Everything that I could see was red. I was on my lunch break. I went back and I was coming off of my lunch break when I called her. And I told her, I'm coming home. I'm coming home right now. She said, no, don't worry about it. Just, you don't need to deal with it. I just wanted to let you know that it happened. And my gut reaction was to not go back to work, drive 2 hours to where he lived, and confront him, cuss him out, tell him what a sorry excuse for a human being he was. Possibly get a few punches in on him because you don't mess with my family. That is one thing you do not do. You do not mess with my family. And he messed with my mama, you guys, and that, I do not take that lightly. So yeah, I did go back into work. I walked back into work, and one of my coworkers saw me, and like, she could see on my face that something was not right. And she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I snapped at her, and she was like, nah, it's not okay. And she came, and she followed me into the break room, and she asked me what was wrong, and I told her what was wrong. And while I'm telling her this, I am shaking. I am pacing back and forth, and I'm shaking. I'm telling her, ooh, this sorry MFer. You know, that's with my mama. You don't do that. And, you know, I'm shaking. I'm telling him. And she said, hold on, don't. I'm going to find a way so that you can leave. We're going to take care of this. She went and got one of my managers. She told him the situation. And he came in and he said, are you okay? And I said, I'm not okay. And he can see I'm shaking. I'm infuriated. I'm pacing. And he said, go home. And I got in my car with every intention of, like I said, driving 2 hours to where he was and confronting him on the situation. I did not do that. Thank God I did not do that. Because we probably would have both ended up dead. But like I said, you know, nothing negative ever happened after that. Like I said, I did get in contact with him a few months later, and he did let me know that he had made an attempt on his life because of it, which was something I was afraid of, because I was afraid, you know, if that happened, I kept telling myself, that's going to be my fault. Well, that's not your fault. That's not your fault. If you leave a bad situation like that, if you leave an abusive relationship and that person in turn turns around and makes an attempt on their life or does harm to themselves, that is not your fault. That is their fault. They're the ones that made that decision to do that to themselves. That is not your fault. So don't be afraid of that happening. If that's one of the things that you're worried about, leaving the relationship and them doing harm, that's not your fault. It may be a reaction to what you've done, but it's not your fault. But yeah, I just wanted to, that's pretty much my story. I was getting dry. I feel like there were parts of it that kind of jumped the rails. I don't feel like I told it well, but that's what it was. I did get out of that relationship, obviously. I am now married to a wonderful man who treats me with so much respect. I don't want for anything. He absolutely 100% takes care of me and takes care of his kids. He is... I love him. I love my husband so much, and I'm so thankful that I left that bad situation so that I could find this perfect one. Like I said, I'm married to a wonderful man who takes care of his family. He has blessed me with a beautiful little boy who is my entire world. You know, my life may not be what some people consider perfect, but it fits me perfectly, and I am so glad that I left that bad situation so that I could find this one. If you did watch this video, if you've made it through it, and this situation in any way sounds familiar to you, if you feel like it is something that you were dealing with personally and you're afraid to leave that situation, I urge you to do everything you can to get out. Nobody deserves to be treated that way. You have done nothing wrong in your life that makes you deserving of being treated like that. You do not deserve to be hurt. You do not deserve to be abused in any way, shape, or form. You being abused is not you paying penance for anything that you've done. That is ridiculous. Stop telling yourself that, because that's ridiculous. Nobody deserves that. So if this is a situation that sounds familiar to you and you want to get out, and if you are, I urge you to get out. Even if you've not thought about it, I urge you right now, make a plan and leave. It's difficult. It is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, but it can be done. You know, find a friend, seek out help. There are multiple, there are organizations that you can go to that can help you with these situations. If you're afraid to speak out, I don't know if you guys know about this, but a black dot on a woman's, or anybody, a black dot on the palm of somebody's hand, that is a nonverbal way of saying I need help. So if maybe you're in that type of situation where you are afraid to speak out, put a black dot on your hand, go to a public place and show somebody. If you have to walk up to a security guard or a cop or somebody and show them your hand so they can see that dot, do it. Do it. But that black dot means I'm in trouble, I need help, and I can't say anything because I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I do. So maybe that is something you can do. Also, if you didn't know that and you ever see somebody with that, that's what that means. So get them help immediately. If you have to call the cops yourself and get them there and, you know, make sure that person stays there and do whatever you have to do. But yeah, there's ways that you can get out. I mean, you know, go online, look up organizations in your area that can help you get out of that situation. You know, maybe you need to, you know, like I said, like I did, get out like a thief in the night. There are women's shelters you can go to if you're afraid of them, of your abuser finding you and doing harm to you, or God forbid you have children in that situation. Grab your kids, get out. Go to the women's shelter. Just find a way to get out, you guys. I urge you, if you were in that type of situation, to get out. Young girls, especially, if you are in this kind of situation, like I said, you do not deserve it. You have so much more left of your life, so many good things that are coming your way. Get out. You do not deserve this. I hope that I was coherent. I hope that this video was helpful to some of you guys. Like I said, I just needed to get it out. So I'm glad I finally did. Don't feel like I did a good job, but I'm glad it's out. I do feel much better now. You don't have to leave any comments on this video if you don't want to. But if you have been in this situation and you've gotten out, I urge you to raise your hand and let it be known that it's happened to you. Because it happens a lot. I don't know if you guys are following what's going on right now, but I mean, you know, it happened to Bill Cosby a couple of years ago. You know, people came out of the woodwork and said, hey, this guy is not good. He's done some really bad things to women, and it's happening with Harvey Fierstein. Oh, is that his name? Not Harvey Fierstein. Oh my God. Harvey Weinstein, not Harvey Fierstein. He's fantastic. Harvey Weinstein, it's been happening with him. A lot of women in Hollywood are coming out and saying, you know, bringing his behavior to light. It's just, you know, I'm really being shown that it happens a lot. It happens a lot and it doesn't need to happen. So, yeah, raise your hand if it's happened to you. Let people know. Don't be ashamed. It's not your fault. You didn't cause it to happen. you just ended up in a situation, a really bad situation. I feel like I said that completely wrong, but you know what I meant. It's not your fault. It's just one of those things that I guess happens sometimes. Not to make light of it or anything, but it happens. It happens a lot, and you're not the only one, and it's okay to speak out against it. So again, if it's happened to you and you've gotten out, and maybe you haven't gotten out, just don't be afraid to say, this has happened, this is happening. Leave it if you have to, or if you need, no. If it's happening to you and you haven't left it yet, leave it. I feel like I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Like I said, I do hope that this was helpful to some people. It was definitely helpful to me. I just really needed to get it out. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for the support you've given me. Thank you if you made it this far, thank you for listening. That means a lot to me. So I'll see you guys in the next one.